Yo,
I'm back.
yeah,
It's good.
had,
It's good.
had that a little high there. What's going on, brother?
Not much. Not much, man. Day by day, you
You
know.
feeling better? Feeling better?
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure.
It's good.
Test results was negative, and sinus infection. And they say it's not contagious, but I know a lot of people with the sinus infection going around. So I don't
Hmm.
know. We'll see. But you know, feeling
Fun,
feeling feeling stronger.
yeah. Funny thing. Ooh, let me turn off my email. Sorry, people. Funny thing is, we were talking about this. Wasn't shit really happening with regular illnesses for quite, for the duration of this
Yeah.
pandemic we're under, right? And it seems like almost like clockwork. You know, we're coming back into it, and boom, sinus infection. Dude at the job he had a cough. We were like, yo, fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. We all think right away. We think COVID. I had all the symptoms. Couldn't breathe.
What does it
Couldn't taste, couldn't, all that. So,
what does it remind you of? The paranoia.
yeah,
No, but I'm saying, does it remind you of anything?
like what?
HIV.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Remember how when HIV came through, yo, I can't share my soda with you.
yeah,
I can't,
yeah.
I can't do this. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfuckers are not paying attention to how people are being pushed to be even more divided. We spent 4.5 years under this alleged president and became like supremely divided, right?
Thank you, Johnny.
Salute Johnny Chavez. Um, we became supremely divided over like troglodyte issues that we should already be beyond. But now they're using this as another wedge issue to make people even more divided. Oh,
Well,
you're not
I mean, the
vaccinated.
division started with Obama. Division started with Obama. Then it went to Trump, and then now it's COVID, and then it's vaccines. You know what I mean? They're just looking for something to divide us.
And that's the thing. It's worse now because people are far more willing to act the fool,
Oh
right?
yeah.
People are just with the smoke, like, yo, I want to be a fucking fool out here. And it's retarded. But whatever. Glad you back, brother.
Thank you, bro. What up, Big Sam? Thanks for
Samuel
calling me
Graham.
back.
Yeah, Samuel Graham. Salute. I see you, brother. Mr. Guado Crespo, all the way down in Florida. We see you, boy. So tonight, special co-host.
Yes.
Seeing people come in the room right now, the regular schmegular, Miss Angelica Reyes.
Hey, Angelica.
See you. Special co-host tonight. We're gonna chop it up, have a
Yes.
good time.
Yes.
But as always, before we start the show, we wanna give a few shout outs and
Share
share
some
some.
flowers for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Let's start off with the flowers. All right, let's see if I could pull this up for everybody to see. I got wild tabs because chop it up. There's wild information. So
Mm.
tonight, we definitely want to give this brother his flowers, right? The brother Pretty Lou out of Brooklyn, who was a guest on the show, friend to the show. Sally, can you sort of like give the full picture of where he's at right now?
First in the post we saw today from him and his family, he has been battling cancer for 7 years, the leukemia and everything, and as of the results today, he is cancer free.
Let's go.
God is great.
So Pretty Lou, first of all, we appreciate you, brother. We appreciate what you've brought to the game. Your personality is huge. People love you, and this is a blessing for your family and most of all yourself. So just keep giving everybody that amazing energy that you have been contributing all these years. Wish you nothing but the best, brother. And yeah, man, this is really great news.
For sure.
Finally.
I always told him when I went through my thing, he's an inspiration to me, and I wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah, man. People, check up on your friends, man. People that you care about, check up on them, man. because you never know. You know, if this situation didn't teach you anything, it should have taught you that we need each other in a big way. So, you know, check up on those people, bite your fucking pride, and most of all, be humble, because you don't know what tomorrow brings. You may not have it tomorrow. You feel me?
Facts.
So,
What's up, Big Bro?
Next set of flowers. This is a little more personal. First of all, I want to say happy 27th birthday to my daughter, Brianna. She came up from Florida to be with her parents. This young lady has evolved in so many different ways, and I'm very proud to one, be called her father. I'm very proud of who she's become as a woman. She's almost gonna walk down the aisle, man. She's engaged to be married to a really good dude. Salute to my guy Alonzo. But I just want to give her a very special happy birthday shout out. And then to the woman that is to the right on the screen, today is our anniversary. I want to say happy anniversary to my wife of 25 years.
You're welcome. You're all welcome.
Mr. Sasson gotta get
partial.
flowers.
I get partial
Yeah,
credit.
yeah. He gets half the credit. My brother was part and parcel to the reason why I met my wife, and you know, he played an integral role. And you know, my wife has been just everything, and she does it all, and she still holds herself together. As you can see, this ain't some pictures from 10 years ago. She's still beautiful, and I just want to say I love you very much, and hopefully we get another 20 plus years.
Do you know? Tony.
Yeah, for real. And one more share before we start the show. If everybody's been following, I'm back on Facebook. You know, I was fighting trying to get my profile back. They weren't hearing it, so ultimately I created a new profile. So if you receive a friend request from Mr. MYSTERAAYE, that is me. So you don't have to call me like many of my friends did. So I shared a post by Mr. Chef Jay Martinez, who essentially was supposed to call in tonight, but I'm going to share this video with everybody just so you know what's going on. Peep it.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Chef Jay Martinez, a.k.a. Mr. Michael.
Who?
Who are we talking about? The question is, who cares?
Since being on the set, my grind has not stopped. I found a new home base right here in Brooklyn, New York, called Salem's Hour, located at 110 Nostrand Avenue, where the menu changes daily.
Nice.
I've also partnered it up with the good people over at Rooftop Reds, where I'll be bringing exclusive events all summer and fall. The next event I have coming up is going to be on September 10th, and it's going to be a New Orleans rooftop takeover. The music, the food, the atmosphere, all coming to New York. For this event, I'll be giving away 4 tickets to my set family.
What the hell is that thing? Subcompact FREE, that spells free.
Free!
Bro.
Let's go!
Victory Screech!
I really just want to thank all you guys for supporting me and supporting my journey and continuing to support my journey.
Aw, that's sweet.
Just can't wait to see you all there, and I can't wait to bring this set family together face to face. Is this mic on?
There you have it, folks. Chef Jay Martinez and the set, September 10th, Rooftop Reds, Brooklyn Navy Yard. It's going to be a movie. Come out, good food, good atmosphere. The view is incredible. If you haven't looked it up, look it up now. It's going to be cracking. Hopefully my man Sasson can make it. Hopefully. And we'll both be in the building. And we can meet. We can talk. We can chop it up. We could do all those things. But yeah, hopefully we'll see you there. So,
Amen.
Sel,
What's
We
good?
ready to run this track?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Mr. A.
Governor Sally Sasson, Cuomo, no more. I'm here.
And this is the Set 6145. Tonight, it's the midweek chop up. Tonight, we have a very special guest. We're going to be bringing her in. I'm glad everybody could, make it tonight. I know it's been a little crazy. I know things have been getting hectic, whatever, but I'm glad everybody could come out. So tonight we're gonna, excuse me, we're gonna have a very special guest come on to co-host with us as we chop it up. If you follow the set, she was on an episode in the past, and she's an amazing author. She's a motivational speaker. I like to believe motivational speaker. I'm sure she has a different title. And she's just a great all-around person, and she bring a lot of good energy and gave a lot of good information out that night. So everybody, welcome to the set. All the way down from Georgia by way of New York, Miss Janine Torres Cabrera.
Hello.
Janine.
How are you?
We're good. What's going on?
Nothing much down in the South. Hot.
Oh, it's always hot down
I
there.
know. We complain about the heat here down there.
Don't complain. Yeah, this is real heat.
For real. That's the one where you walk outside and the mosquitoes jump you, almost like Puerto Rico. It's crazy. Oh, there she go. Nah, I can't mess with that.
It's more the spiders than the mosquitoes, but yeah,
Oh, really?
this country, yeah, there's spiders everywhere out here.
Oof.
Yeah.
I can't mess with that.
No,
Do they have those big banana spiders out there?
they got something called a Juro spider out here. I think everybody who knows me is tired of hearing me talk about them, but they're massive. They're like 6 inches big, and they're just everywhere right now. They've infested Georgia from China, and they're
You just said massive and 6 inches big. A lot of guys just got hyped up right now.
Their webs are like the size of a
Massive and 6 inches we hype right now.
They're massive. They're this big, but their web is like it's humongous. So you walk into them, you can't even go for a walk in the park because these things are everywhere. It's hysterical.
When I went to New
I'm like
Mexico,
with raid all the time.
when I went to New Mexico, they had tarantulas and the scorpions. I was like, man, this is crazy out
Oh
there.
yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. I've been okay with the wildlife out here, but the
Bring me the
spiders.
cucarachas back.
No, I'm good. You can keep those in Brooklyn.
You gotta love the energy in the building right now.
Oh man.
This is amazing. Yeah, man. So Janine, so glad
Yeah.
you could join us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
No, of course. I mean, Sally wasn't available for the show that we did.
Yeah,
And this works out just fine. We could finally be on in the room
yeah.
and go back and forth on some of the topics we're gonna throw out tonight.
Awesome.
So, let's have some fun.
That's cool.
Everybody's in the room. Salute. Miss Bertha Medina's in the room.
Woo,
Our
Bertha.
Bertha Iago.
That's my baby mama.
That's your BM.
That's my baby mama.
God. Mr. Anthony Montenegro in the building as well. We see you. Man. All right. So let's start it off. All right. We want to start off with fuckery or with foolishness, right? Let's start it off with that.
Sure.
So it seems as though the more the years have gone on and the more the internet has become available to us, the more foolishness
Mhm.
and the more willing people are to be foolish
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah.
So, you have this milk crate challenge exploding on social media,
Mhm.
right? So for me, I noticed that, nowadays people just don't have any home training, right? Like if this was out when we were young,
Yeah.
I'm almost 100% sure that everybody's mother and or father would have been out there talking about, mira, bájate de ahí, or if you fought, bueno, ¿qué te pasa? ¿Quién te manda?
Ponte Vicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? So is this a sign of the times, or are we just getting old?
I mean, I think that social media is, that's what it does. It promotes trends like this. I think for young kids, the trends really take hold in the junior high and high school age. But I think it's been a rough year also. And I think that people are just looking for ways to, have fun and be silly and socialize with people again and be a part of something, after so much isolation. I think that's why we see so many adults taking part in this trend. Even older adults. I've seen, people who look like they're a little bit past middle age, climbing those crates. And that is surprising to see, an older group of people participating in it. But I think it is just people are looking for ways to have fun. They're tired of being home and cooped up,
Yeah, we took the crates. We used to play basketball on the crates. That's what we did.
Cut out the middle.
Where the fuck were all those crates when we needed them, right? Back in the day.
True. They're always in Spanish communities, though, sitting while they're playing dominoes. Everybody's always got crates if they're next to a bodega. I'm curious to know where they're getting them in other states, though.
So, what about you, bro? What do you think about this?
I think, I'm piggybacking what Janine said. I think people are just bored. They're just looking for something to do. Tired of all the, wear a mask, don't wear a mask, this, that. It's just all entails into one, they're just bored. It's like do something silly, and people do a lot of things for the gram, like they say, right? They do for likes and this and that. So, I seen the older dude, like Janine said, on it, and I see some young cat kick the crates and homeboy busts the shit. And I'm like, we they're moving furniture. This happens to me, but I won't be climbing up there anyway, so it don't matter.
No lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to be breaking our hip at this point in our life.
No.
I think that for me, I think it's more indicative of where we are as a people. And the reason why I say that is because for the last 15 years that the internet has really become a staple in our lives. We've had all these sort of silly ass challenges that people are doing, right? We had the fire challenge.
Tide Pod challenge.
Yeah, the Tide Pod challenge. We had the ALS. Well, the ALS was a little different because it was for
good cause.
Right.
Fundraising.
Right. But we've had all these challenges, right? And no matter how ridiculous they were, people were just setting themselves on fire in the shower, doing the fire challenge. Like, don't you understand you're gonna burn yourself?
Yeah.
Right. So I think for me, it demonstrates the willingness and how feeble-minded people have become to become what I would call the jackass syndrome.
Yeah.
Of well, not our generation, but the generation before us. I mean, this is coming behind us. Pause. Everybody is willing to do some dumb shit, as you were both saying, for the gram or for likes or this or that. But I've yet to see anybody come out to one of those things like, what are y'all doing? Like, there's no adult in the room.
Yeah.
I
think what it highlights is just the ignorance in America. I think that social media has given us the ability to spread challenges like this so quickly. Back in the day before technology, maybe you did something stupid with your friends and it stayed within your community, your friends in your school and your circle. But now you can upload something stupid and before you know it, it's going everywhere across the country, across the world. It's, I've seen them in Haiti doing the milk crate challenge. So I think it's just that social media is able to spread things so fast. And it's, this is where kids live now. Kids are on social media and the internet all day long. And so, not everybody has the facilities to think with common sense and to critically think, what am I doing? Mixed with, this need to belong and to be a part of something. And so people like that who easily follow, they get caught up in these types of trends and things, whether they're dangerous or not. There's just no thought to what am I really doing? Processing what they're doing. I'm going to end up in the hospital with a broken arm and I have no insurance. You can see half the people, who are participating just look like they can't really afford a broken arm. But yet there they go climbing up those crates. So
there's no room in the hospital right now.
No,
people with COVID,
with COVID going on. Why would you want to be in a hospital with COVID going on? But that ability to rationalize just isn't there. And social media highlights that and spreads it like a fire quickly.
I like the fact that she said you don't look like you can afford a broken.
You got to go to work tomorrow.
Yo, you don't really look like you got the money to be breaking your arms, son. I really,
Or healthcare. That's a big copay.
Walmart needs you tomorrow to work.
Yeah, for real. Like that's really crazy. But again, yeah, I think people don't have the ability to discern rational, like what's rational for them and right for them. Like they don't connect the two.
No.
I don't give a fuck how long I've been cool. I've never seen somebody go into jail for 20 years, come home and then do some dumb shit. You know what I mean? Like I just did a 20-year bid. Oh, I'm jumping off a fucking cliff with a bungee cord. Nah, I just came home. What am I? You understand? So I think it again. I think it speaks to more of the people's like just really like
they want to be famous. People want their 15 minutes. So
it's really ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, quick validation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, all right, moving along.
Yo, Mr. A, real quick. Can we do the?
I was just gonna pull it up.
Yeah,
for you.
please.
So Janine, one of the things that we also like to do is highlight community activities here on the show when people are doing positive things. We like to bring it to everybody so that they can get involved, or they can tell somebody who they know who can get involved and contribute. So a good friend of ours who's connected to this this drive for book bags and supplies.
Oh, nice.
So I was supposed to share this at the beginning, but you know, sometimes we get a little overzealous and we forget. So, and again, as
that memory,
you see what I'm saying? So this is the book bag giveaway that's going to be conducted. You got to forgive me because, again, I'm old, so I can't really see that well. So I got to sort of zoom in, right? So there's a book bag giveaway taking place in Sunset Park. It's by invite only. So you have to call here, 929-575-8772. We're going to post this on the Set 6145 Facebook and Instagram page so that everybody can have the information. It's going to be at PS24 and PS1, right? And this is a list of what is needed. So everybody in Sunset, Park Slope, anywhere in Brooklyn, if you're watching the show, or even if you're a watcher from out of state and you want to feel to give, listen, contact somebody there. They'll give you the information on how to get it over. And if you're local, man, give them a call, man. There's a lot of people in need right now. Things are really, really getting difficult for everybody. So we just want to make sure that, you know, not only that we do our part, but that we try to involve everybody who watches the show. So contact information will be posted on the page. Go there if you can help contribute and help these families out. All right.
Awesome.
That being said,
I have one more.
Joe
Star, our friend Joe Star, Joseph Estrella, has 15 tickets for Brooklyn Cyclones game. So he just needs, you know, whoever wants to go, just give your name and it's from a mention of it's a health plan, Affinity Health Plan.
Okay.
So it's through them. So he just needs names and he'll get the tickets to you.
Anybody who wants to go to the Brooklyn Cyclones game, email the set6145@gmail.com. We'll get your information over to Joe Star. Salute to our brother Joseph Estrella, continuing to do big things for the neighborhood and contribute to the set as always. Just email us. We'll get it over to Joe Star and he'll reach out to you guys and get you to the game. See,
right. Back to business.
Back to business. So let's shift gears a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about well, this is not really a happy story, but it seems like people, you know, as of lately have really, you know, continue on this trend of losing their damn minds. And we don't know all the facts just yet, but this is something that I think is worth noting and discussing. So this pitcher, Trevor Bauer from the Dodgers, is he arrested or they let him go, Sel?
He's like on house arrest.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he has a beeper and stuff, but he's not with the team.
Okay.
He's you know, he goes there with his lawyers, you know, in and out, whatever, but he's home, I guess.
Okay. So evidently, Mr. Trevor Bauer is accused of sexual assault. Now, essentially, he was accused by a woman, but his attorneys and himself are refuting the claim, stating that he has text messages, exchanges between him and this woman, where she is essentially telling him that she wants rough sex. But it turns out, I think that Mr. Bauer took it a bit too far. And he's proclaiming his innocence. However, there seems to be another case that he was involved in where another young lady accused him of the same sort of sexual assault. There's pictures of her injuries, that were caused by him. And, essentially it says the police arrested her for underage drinking. Now that leaves me a little, the woman was an adult, but not of legal drinking age. So what does that mean? Does that mean she was 18 and the drinking age where she's at is 21? Is that sort of what we're...
Yeah, it's like 18, 19, 20.
And how old is Bauer?
I would say high 20s. Yeah.
Okay. So first, I'm going to close that out. First, I think it's reckless and irresponsible of a professional ball player to be, connecting with a woman of her age. Legally consenting, or okay, cool. But you're a Major League Baseball player. You have a lot at stake. There's a lot to lose. And not only that, but that's your first strike. Your second strike now is with this other woman.
He's 30 years old.
He's 30?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in his high 20s at the time.
Yeah, he's a dirtbag. Nobody 28 should be doing. I mean, again, I'm putting this out there as my opinion. You're going to hear Sasson's and you're going to hear Janine's opinion. In my humble opinion, a man of 27, 28, 29 years old should not be dealing with a woman who's 18. That's just my opinion. There are mature women in the world. There are mature men in the world. I don't feel that a man of that age should be with a young lady in that age bracket. That being said, the sexual assault, listen, this isn't your first rodeo, buddy. And I think that, we have cases where women have falsely accused men of sexual assault and or rape. I get it. However, this is not your first rodeo. And for you to be in that under those circumstances with that young lady, so young, and now you have another one, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying he's, I'm not going to convict the guy, but it's not looking good for you. And for me, you've demonstrated your ignorance with the first one. So whatever happens to you from here on out, listen, you should control yourself. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think?
Janine, go first.
Yeah, ladies first.
I might hug the mic on this topic.
Yeah, man.
All right, let me be quick then.
Yeah.
No.
Professional
When I was
opinion.
21, I dated a 26-year-old.
Whoa.
I was the man. But anyway, go ahead.
God. Well, I touched on this when we did my interview about me being younger and dating older men, thinking that was normal and realizing later that they were predatory. And, it was just something that to me, it wasn't an issue. But, with as far as these stories that come out, I've always been the type to just flat believe anybody who ever made a claim about any type of mistreatment or sexual abuse, because I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. So I truly believe in the, hashtag Believe Her movement and the Me Too movement. But I recently had somebody reach out to me who had been falsely accused and who was dealing with their own trauma about, the backlash of what that did to their life and trying to restore their reputation and, all the things they lost behind it. And they were cleared of the charges, camera evidence came out and they were able to beat the charge. But the destruction that it left behind in their life is something that they have to deal with now, the anger and the embarrassment and all these things that they have to wear. So, I know that things happen for a reason. So I feel like with the work that I'm doing now, that God kind of needed me to see that other side of the situation when the accusations are exaggerated or when the accusations are not true or when people do have agendas to, bring somebody down for whatever reason. So it brought awareness into my eyes that I can't be so quick to judge We do have to be more discerning. And what I think is the best criteria for discerning things like that is the pattern. To me, when there's someone who is abusing their authority, abusing power, they're predatory, there's usually a pattern. That pathological type of behavior, you can't hide it. It's never a one and done, So usually when a story comes out like this, there's stories from their past that maybe weren't as severe, but maybe they did something to someone in high school and they never really talked about it, but they continue escalating. There's a constant escalation of it getting worse and worse. And then finally, when someone does have the courage to come out, or it's something that's so heinous that a story comes out about them, then the other people will start to say, yeah, that kind of happened to me too, or I had an experience with them too. So, maybe this one, the girl kind of said, I want something rough. And maybe, it was hard to really determine, how rough did she want it and how rough did she ask for it? And did she have an agenda? But if someone else is saying, yeah, he went a little far with me too, then he may have even set that girl up to kind of say, do you like rough sex? And maybe she was thinking about just getting it a good pounding. And he was getting her on text to say, yeah, I like rough sex, but he's giving her black eyes. And that's not what she had in mind. So, the pattern of behavior, it looks like it's starting to come out against him, that there was some kind of a pattern there. So where that ends up, I don't know enough about baseball and Trevor, but
it's almost like they see how far can I go, how far I'm gonna take this much this time. Oh, nobody said nothing. All right, I'm gonna take some.
They're boundary pushers. Pathological people like that are boundary pushers, and they will go as far as you let them. And with Trump, we saw stories before he even became president. It's not something new that just comes out. Right. It's something that's kind of followed them all along their life. That it's been an escalation of things.
And I joke about, when I started about me being younger, and I did fool around with an older woman when I was around 21, and to my boys it was like, you the man, blah blah. So there is both sides of the story. Like I
felt that way even with Jada Pinkett Smith and August Alsina. I thought that what she did was very predatory, and he was a young man who had mother issues, and here she came. And if it was the other way around, we would have there would have been a shitstorm of backlash of people talking about Will Smith doing that to a young girl. But she kind of skirted out of that with not too much criticism. But I was pretty disgusted by the whole story.
Oh, Sal, don't you feel like there's a double standard when it comes to women doing dirt? And I'm saying dirt generalizing because there's a few sort of points that
Well, it's both ways. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
There's double standards on both sides.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But don't you feel like, well, I guess what I'm saying to you is, as a man, right, do you feel like there's certain things that women get away with that if we did, they would be in an uproar? Like physical abuse, right? If a woman snuffs you in public, you'll get jumped if you hit, well, who knows? But in the right setting,
the woman just slapped the guy in the football game. Do you see that one?
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
If you deliver the same force or exceed that force, you're looked at as, oh, you should never hit a woman. Like Dr. Phil says that you should never hit a woman. You're a coward. I don't know. For me, you should not put your hands on a man. Right. You should keep your hands to yourself. But if you slap a man, I don't know. You playing Russian roulette for me.
That reminds me of the guy with the 8-ball jacket on the train where those girls were for antagonizing him. I mean, you're human. You have reflexes, and at that point, they were bullying him. They were totally tough chicks from Brooklyn or wherever they were from, and. When he finally released,
we say the Bronx.
The Bronx, right? I was like, about time, he stood up for himself. He defended himself. Do I like the idea that a man can, hit a woman? Do I feel it's necessary? No, it's not always necessary. You're stronger than her. You can overpower her. But there are times that women will take it there and you don't know this person. You're putting your hands on someone. You're violating their space. And everyone has the right to defend themselves. So, you take it there. You have to be willing to accept the consequences that come with it and not cry, oh, I'm a victim now because, they hit you. They hit you harder than you could hit them. So
Sally, have you ever gotten that in the club? Being in the clubs back in the days, has a woman ever? No, I'm just curious because I know Cell was out a lot.
I know, I was there a lot.
Was there ever? Oh, okay, I wasn't aware of that. I learned something new every day. Was there ever an instance where a woman was like, "Yo, like, you know,
Nah,
throw a drink at you," or
nah?
nah?
I'm a lover, baby. I don't need that trouble shit. Nah.
Well, I guess what I'm asking you is, what is your opinion on that? So a woman calls off and slaps you, not wifey.
It's you know, I can't put my hands on you. You shouldn't put hands on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
It takes
I got a sister that's gonna kick your ass anyway, so he ain't fucking with me. I'm like, yo, Mill, handle this.
The pit bull, Millie Mill.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
reflexes are reflexes though. So you're banking on somebody having slow reflexes, you know, when you take a chance like that.
I was, like I said, I wasn't in that situation. When I first started the bus, you know, they would be like, oh, if they spit on you, you know, what are you gonna do? And people are like, oh, I'm gonna walk away in my job, and they're like, let somebody spit on you and let's see your reaction. Right?
Yeah.
You might forget your job, you're gonna knock somebody out.
Yeah.
That's crazy because that job, you're not supposed to hit nobody, no matter what they do to you. And that's grounds for termination. But it's like, hold up a second, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to get spit on, punched in the face,
eat it,
raise
to walk out?
Yeah, I don't believe in that. I totally believe that everyone should have the right to defend themselves, from a little child all the way up. You invade my space, be ready for what's to follow.
Fuego. I don't know how we got on men hitting women, but I think that people all together, like, everybody needs to keep their fucking hands to themselves.
Yeah, there's just a lack of respect.
Yeah, people have really jumped out of the window with this, but I digress. Let's get to the next story. This is a little more touchy, but along the same lines. And I sort of feel like this is just adding fuel to the distractions that they feed us because of everything else that's going around. But we're gonna touch on it. So evidently, R. Kelly is back in court. They trying to lock his ass up. And the witness says she wrote accusing letters to her parents at singer's behest. So basically, I'm gonna give what I know to be going on so far. I come to understand that R. Kelly essentially was paying women to put feces on their faces. That's the new information. And I know that's a bit drastic, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. But there's a lot more coming out pertaining to his behavior, right? I take issue with what's going on with R. Kelly, and why I said it's more of a distraction for us to keep us from focusing on what else is going around is that this is a known character. Janine, you alluded to it earlier. There's an instance that happens and they push a little further, and there's another instance, and then by the time years go by, somebody's brave enough to come out. Now everybody's like, oh, me too, that kind of happened to me. And now the floodgates open and all the information comes out.
Yeah.
For me, the entertainment business and the people in it knew R. Kelly was
100%.
He's a freak.
They knew it. They've said it. This is what he paid us to do. This is what he wanted, and we complied. And they are all guilty by association. They really should also face charges for the things that they faced and condoned and coordinated for him.
What do they call that? Enabling, right?
Yeah. Without their help, he would not have been able to do the things that he did. But he had a bunch of henchmen, from threatening victims, paying people off,
aiding and abetting
girls. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Aaliyah was probably 14 or 15 years old when he got with her.
Yeah.
And I think, from what I understand, she had an abortion.
Yeah.
She got pregnant. Yes.
She was pregnant.
So that means that grown ass, because R. Kelly wasn't no 19-year-old when
he was 27, and she was 15.
So what I'm going to say to this is what I said earlier. No grown man should be with a woman, and even more so an underage woman. And it's sad because these people, the parents, were, for me, letting it happen.
Yeah. They actually had signed over, I think, like parental custody to him, guardianship. And that happens a lot in this industry where parents are working or they're unable to afford the ability to travel with their kids, as their kids, like Britney Spears, her mother used to go with her for a little while. But then eventually you have to put them in the hands of someone else. You can't be there all the time. Maybe you have other kids at home. So you sign over the guardianship to the label, or you sign over guardianship to the manager, whoever is grooming them. And a lot of these kids, boys, you know, we've seen it with the boy groups, you know, they've been abused. They've literally been put into the hands of strangers, and they're going hotel to hotel. They're on buses. They're kids on the buses. They're watching these managers have sex with women. There's just all types of inappropriateness going on around them. And, you know, it's justified in the name of my kid's going to be a star, you know? So I think her parents were very well informed about the things that were coming back to them in the rumors. Everyone else heard it. Her parents had to know it, you know?
This goes back to what we said, predators, right? So it's like they see the situation. These people poor. Let me pay them some money. My lawyer, she's gonna take care of them. She's gonna be the guardian, and then they would have the papers written up for as a woman was gonna be with the other women, and meanwhile he was with them. So a lot of it is a planned, it's a planned agenda that they have, and it goes back to Michael Jackson days and stuff like that, right? We all heard about the rumors, but Kells is he's been doing it for a long time. So anybody that
how did he get away with it for so long?
Put their kid in his hands would know that this is this is down the line what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Think about the records.
Think about the what?
Think about the records that he made from let's say Honey Love, which was like the first joint I remember in the 90s. That was like one of his first hits. All the way to like the Best of Both Worlds with Jay-Z. Mm-hmm. You're talking about easily a 15-year run, almost 20, right? You mean to tell me none of these dudes knew? You mean to tell me they never hung out? They never, because you share. Mm-hmm. You doing business with people, you get cool with people, you get friendships, you hang out, you share.
Yeah. I thought that was why him and Jay-Z fell out, that Jay-Z was seeing things on the tour that he didn't like. So a lot of people saw it. He just kept escaping, charges because he kept paying off his victims. He kept settling out with them. So no one really ever brought real charges to him. He had henchmen who threatened people. He had one of his guys start a car fire in front of his ex-girlfriend's house. He was very intimidating. So no one wanted to raise up against him. It wasn't until that documentary came out that the feds made their own case against him and started to pursue him. But it wasn't that, one girl went in there and finally said, I'm going to press charges against him. He had people scared.
I'm trying to think. Was Jay-Z scared of him? Was Dame Dash scared of him? Was Nas scared? These are all artists that have done work with him.
I think it's just,
not my business.
They don't want to snitch. Mind their business, like street code in their minds,
But wait. Interesting point, Sally.
Especially in hip hop.
Yeah.
Right. Especially hip hop. However, we're not talking about drug and gun running. That's street shit.
Yeah.
This is pedophile shit.
Yeah.
Like these people in the business have children.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure if now you ask Jay-Z that today, I'm sure he'll be like, I wish I would have said something, because he has Blue and he has his daughter, right? So I'm sure he'd probably be like, man, huh?
But don't forget, hip hop also is about misogynistic behavior, and it's dating younger women, and not you think these guys are asking these girls who are groupies, how old are you? Let me see your ID. They probably got a bunch of girls under 18 that they're taking back to their tour bus, and so they blur those lines, and so they don't want to start talking about what somebody else is doing, because they don't want people to be in their business about what they're doing and bring up their skeletons. So I think that's been a big problem in hip hop, that type of behavior has been condoned, because sex is a big part of what's going on there. That's what's in their music. That's what they're selling. That's what they're living after.
Remember when your mom was cold house and shit at Macy's? Remember New Jack City?
They don't see anything that wrong with it, They just don't want to be in the room when something's going down that could get them in trouble. So that's when they'll skip out. But they're not raising no alarms for anybody. They don't want nobody digging into their shit, either.
Ladies and
Facts.
gentlemen, if you're just joining the show, I'm your host, Mr. A,
Sally Song in the building.
and our special co-host, Ms.
Janine
Janine
Cabrera.
Torres. Well, I've been saying Torres.
Torres, that's what I write under, Janine Torres.
Okay. And this is the midweek chop up with our special co-host. And we're talking about the hip hop world and pedophilia to a degree. Older men and underage women. I happen to believe that this is more prevalent than we like to acknowledge.
Oh yeah.
As you said about groupies and not asking for IDs.
Mm-hmm.
I know of there was a battle rapper out of Philadelphia who I admired a lot. And he was a devout Muslim and he had a following. He was really good at his craft. Come to find out that he was molesting like his, if I remember correctly, it was his stepdaughter.
Oh.
Might have even been his daughter. It's one of the two. When it was about to hit the street, he killed himself.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, he killed himself. And again, prevalent battle rapper in the circuit, very good at his craft, humongous following. It sent a shockwave through that community. Now, why do I say that? That community was more moved about what he did and how it unraveled than the hip hop community as a whole has been about R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Collectively, or even African Bambaataa. Because Africa Bambaataa, he hasn't been ousted from hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our leaders do not need to be perfect when it comes to achieving certain goals. And that's just real.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to children, you gotta go.
Yeah.
You understand? We are all parents. And I'm sure when I say you touch my kids, you gotta go. Like, I'm sure you can agree with that.
Yeah.
So I'm putting it in that context because this culture is acting very cowardly because of the fact that he's not alone in what he does.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
He is absolutely not alone in what he does.
I think us as parents that's one of the, one of our biggest fears, right? We're always worrying about, God forbid, somebody lays their hands on our kids and things like that. And we dealt with that extra with Joey, because Joey doesn't walk and doesn't talk.
Yeah.
So how is he gonna ever let us know somebody violated him?
Yep.
So we always was on top of it, like whoever was around or anything like that with him.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a tough situation.
I think with the reason why we don't see the backlash that should be there is, especially in the hip hop community, is because we have such few leaders and greats and heroes. And we have this tendency to put people on pedestals because they accomplish great things and they put out great art. And, we admire them and we grow up on them, and they're part of our memory and they're part of our who we are. R. Kelly's part of who I am. Since I was 13, I've listened to his music, and I hear his songs and it takes me back to specific memories of my youth,
Time
so
points.
yeah. So I think that, you think of Bill Cosby, same thing. You came home and you watched him every day. There's a connection there that is a part of my identity. So when we find out these truths about who these people are, and now we have to take them off that pedestal that we've put them on, there's a mourning and a grieving that goes with that of, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to accept that truth. And especially for minorities and in hip hop, because like I said, there's so few of us that we're like, why my guy? Why our great singer? We become defensive of them. And that's what you see with Bill Cosby. People are saying that all the time. This is a conspiracy. They want to bring him down. But again, the pattern of pathological behavior has been there for decades and decades. It's not the first time those rumors came out, but it's hard for us to grieve and let go of those parts of us, because then the next debate comes up. Do we, cancel all of their artwork? Are they, can we listen to their music anymore? You know, is that all gone? I can't play it anymore. You know, and then that's asking a lot for people to give up those parts of now who they are. You know, I still play R. Kelly music. I can detach myself from the man and I'll play it at home. I won't bump it at a barbecue because, you know, one time I went to put one on and my sister was like, don't put that on. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You know,
we don't play R. Kelly, no 6ix9ine, and no.
Yeah, and I have a history of sexual abuse, and I'm like, oh, for heaven's sake! But I mean, we wouldn't even have, you know, artwork from Van Gogh if that was the case. You know, some of the greatest artists have been the craziest people. So, you know, it's one thing to say, you know, we can't continue to support this person, but does that mean that all of their artwork has to be, you know, deleted from life? You know, no, I think that that's where you start to ask people for too much, and I think that that's the resistance that people start to feel like, you know, this is crazy. You know, this movie, I can't watch these movies. I can't read that book. I can't listen to that music anymore. You know, it just becomes exaggerated with the fallout, you know.
Cancel culture.
Yeah.
I think some of it, the reality is that some of this is needed for us because it's growth.
Yeah.
In one instance is growth, because confronting who the fuck we really are as people is healthy.
Yes.
Accountability. Let me say that to everybody in the room. If nobody's ever told you, accountability, holding yourself to account and holding others around you to account is healthy.
Yes. You should have a banner of that going across like this.
Yeah. It's a reality because that's how you fucking grow.
Yeah.
Sally, for many years, right? You're moving through life. There comes a point in time in your life where you say, yo, you know what? I can't do that no more. I gotta do this. I gotta go this way. Right?
Yeah.
That's holding yourself to account. That's maturity.
Yeah.
Right? So now, I don't necessarily agree with cancel culture as it's framed in this environment.
Yeah.
Because they want to use it for everything.
Yeah.
And you get these people who aren't really lucid jumping in the fray and going, whoa, he said her when he should have said him.
Yeah, it makes him feel powerful. He had an opinion.
Right. Like, go over there with that bullshit.
Yeah.
For me, Bill Cosby's situation, because I read the court documents, is crazy. And I like to believe in my mind, from what I read, the evidence that he's a deviant.
Yeah.
I don't, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I don't necessarily put Cosby in that bag, right? But that's a whole other discussion. What I want everybody to understand is hold yourself and hold people around you to account.
Yeah.
And if they can't correct their behavior or right their wrong, get the fuck away from them.
There's people that they're always like, you know, it's this person's fault or this person's this. And I'm like, yo, bro, can you check yourself? Like, look in the mirror and check yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or what pushed that person, you know, your baby mama to do this to you? Because, you know what I mean? Like, what did you do to push her there? You know what I mean? So we gotta have accountability for sure.
Yeah.
For every action,
and accountability of others. That's how we as a society figure out what our norms are, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. You know, in our communities, in our schools, you know, what standard do we hold people to for how we treat one another? So it's important that we do have these discussions and debates, because that's how we interact with one another and figure out how to treat each other.
Common courtesy goes a long way.
Shit ain't so common no more. All right, let's change gears, because I feel like we can definitely open up a can of worms on this.
You got the dogs angry.
Yeah, no, because Mommy just came home, and the baby and my daughter and my son just came home, so the dogs are like wilding out right now. The dogs are angry because of that shit. I want to make some money with these motherfuckers. All right, let's move on.
Man.
Let's change gears right here. So we're gonna go into let's talk about vaccination. Now,
accountability.
So right now, this is the biggest thing happened. You know, everybody is either pro or con. They're either for it or against it. And, you know, Sasson was was positive for COVID. And you know, he went through an ordeal, and you know, thank God, you know, thank the Most High that my brother pulled through. His family's 100%.
Amen. I didn't know that.
Wonderful. You know, he's still here with us. You know what I mean? Now, everybody needs to understand something. Not everybody is going to catch COVID. Not everybody is going to catch it and get sick and be put on a ventilator. Not everybody is a conspiracy theorist. Not everybody trusts everything that they're told. Now, I am not a doctor, nor do I try to say that I am or have an understanding of virology. I didn't get my MBA from Harvard. What I will say is, think about the speed in which things were done. Also think about the separation of the people, and think about the problems that came and the problems that were addressed and remedied, and the money that was made during this whole ordeal. And remember, because I'm being called a cynic, stop telling me that the government would never do something to harm the people. Because the last time I recall something happening in this country, they lied. They flat out lied about it. And here we are 20 years later, and it's creating another problem. But as far as the vaccinations are concerned, do your due diligence, and you decide for yourself, for your circumstances, and make the decision for yourself. But don't by any means turn out to be one of those people that is going to be in the street talking about he or she does not have a vaccination. They shouldn't be able to work. They shouldn't be able to buy food, because trust me when I tell you, that's coming. Don't jump in.
Janine, go ahead.
Let me drop the mic. Hold up.
Well, I know how he feels. I've seen some of his emails come through with he's like, just take it with a grain of salt. I'm vaccinated. I did take the vaccine. I am a holistic person. I don't like medicine. I try to go natural routes as best as I can. I do it with my daughter as well. But I do have a nursing background, and I wholeheartedly believe in vaccines. Vaccines have been out for a very long time. The method of making them has been out for a very long time. We've had vaccines around for a very long time. We live the life that we live today because of vaccines. We don't have to deal with polio, even chickenpox. My daughter's never had to experience chickenpox because she's vaccinated. So vaccines have been beneficial to us as, you know, a population of humans. They have really made our quality of life better. And as far as traveling, you know, whenever, you know, I worked at a company where they went to Africa, you know, every week. So I was always coordinating vaccinations for people, you know, that they were always mandatory to get into certain countries. So I think that with this vaccine, I know that it was done quickly, but the myths that have come out about the vaccine, you know, or the argument that, you know, people are sheeple because they're getting vaccinated and that they're allowing fear mind to take over them. I really feel it's the opposite. I really feel that fear mind has taken over, and everyone's believing in this grand conspiracy that this vaccine is meant to do something to us. Do I believe that COVID came out naturally? No, I think that was a slip up of someone who had an agenda, and it got out, and now we're dealing with COVID. Do I think that they've been totally honest about the origins of it? No, I don't. But we have this problem now, and we have to work together if we're ever going to go back to life as we were accustomed to. And so for me, I do feel that the vaccines are a critical part of bringing us back into that normalcy. But people are so afraid now. There's all these types of rumors going around that it changes your DNA and it's causing sterility, and it you know, has metal in it and makes you magnetic. It's got microchips in it, you know, and those things are just not true. You know, as far as the vaccine, you know, changing your DNA, the material never enters the nucleus of the cell. So it's just giving a code of information so that your immune system can develop immunity to fight that virus. And as far as it, you know, shedding and things like that, it's not live virus. there are vaccines that have live virus, but COVID vaccine is not one of them.
It
So
doesn't
to
have a
me,
live. It doesn't have a live virus.
it doesn't have a live virus.
None
No,
of them.
some
None?
of them. Other vaccines do. Other,
Okay.
I forget which one specifically. So some do shed. I think like
I think Moderna has
RNA. What's that?
Moderna and Pfizer are the same one, so it won't be
Oh,
Moderna.
Moderna. The virus.
Yeah, COVID at all does not shed. COVID vaccine, no matter who made it, does not shed. There are other viruses that shed in that way, but this specific vaccine is not like that. So I think there's just a lot of, again, back to social media. People are meme sharers and no one fact checks. So people are quick to see a meme go up, and before you know it, it's had 2 million shares. And no, people who really don't use Google to their advantage to really research the facts and figure these things out. So, I know that I do believe that everyone should have the right to make a decision for themselves. I do believe that not everybody is capable of getting a vaccine, and those are the people who are vulnerable in our communities. But I think that if you are healthy and you have no allergies and you've done well with other vaccines, you should get the vaccination. You're going to help us get out of this pandemic state that we're now going back into. We were starting to see a decrease as people got vaccinated, but even here in Georgia, we're the leading state in the nation right now of cases that are jumping again. So schools are probably going to close down again. People are probably not going to be able to go back to work again, and we're right back to where we started. So, the benefits that we were seeing of the vaccine, finally letting us get back to normal, taking off our masks, going back out, having fun, we've lost all that momentum. Now we're back at square one where the virus was able to mutate and we can't get ahead of it. We're talking about Delta, but it's already mutated to E and F. And I think we're on G now. They use the first letter of the alphabet to name them. So we're already so many mutations down that in order for us to catch up now, we can't. And again, it goes back to, lack of real information and sharing that information with people so that they can make an informed decision for their family. But the paranoia, we talk about, oh yes, the government's making you afraid, but I really feel like it's everyone else who's afraid. Like there's this paranoia that you can't take it out of people, and it's not, before it was just Republicans, but now it's Democrats, it's Blacks. In Georgia, it's only 42% of the population in Georgia has been vaccinated. That's it. So, you wonder why we're going back into pandemic state. We're losing beds in hospitals again, and we're right back where we started. So I'm concerned about, the misinformation that's going on about the vaccine and how many people are really scared to get it. It worries me, that we're never going to get out of this situation.
It's a trust issue,
Yeah. And we
people-
know the government has done things like that. We know
grew up-
experiments they've done. They've done things in Africa. They've done things to African Americans. We know that.
we
I'm
grew
not
up-
one to say I trust the government. I certainly do not. I
Yeah.
certainly don't trust the government. But I
Right.
do trust science. I
Right.
do believe in science, and vaccines have been a proven thing that has, increased the quality of life. We don't have to deal with polio today because of that.
Mhm.
But Corona is going to become our polio.
The problem is the trust. The scientists are leading us astray. Also, they tell us one thing, then they tell us a different story, and then those who are telling us the right information don't come out a lot of
I
public.
think there was a lot of that had to do with the fact that we were learning. We're learning as we go. Corona was something new that they were studying, and it takes a while to really get data. That data has to go into computer models, and once that data is entered into these models, it's able to tell us a story. So when you don't have all the data or only 2 months of data, you don't have all the facts. So every time that data came out with a new story, they were like, chapter 1, just wear your mask and you'll be good. Chapter 2, no, we found out that you also have to sanitize your hands.
But that leads into the mistrust, right? Because I'd rather you
that
say,
leads to
listen,
the
we don't have all the
mistrust.
data. We don't have all the data. I don't want to tell you guys what.
Exactly.
But
But
they
now
were like,
here
we got to
are,
tell them something.
a year and a half in, and now that data is becoming pretty solidified, and we kind of understand the story that data is telling us now.
I'm
And it's telling
vaccinated
us-
also.
Yeah,
I'm
it's telling
vaccinated.
us mask up, sanitize. Even if you're not vaccinated, I really feel like sanitizing and masking up are even more important than anything, because we see that even with the vaccine, people are still getting it. So is that the 100% foolproof way? No, it's not. We still have to mask up. I take sanitizer with me everywhere I go. Everything I touch before I eat, I make sure I sanitize. I put one into my daughter's lunchbox. She's got a sanitizer thing on her bag. She knows you come in from recess, you sanitize your hands, because the school's not taking them to wash their hands. I tell her before snack time, take your little sanitizer out, sanitize your hands. So she wears a mask in school, and she's got sanitizer bottles all over her little, snack bags and lunch bags. So for me, that really is what it comes down to, is personal accountability. I am accountable for myself. And if I don't want to take this vaccine, then I'll keep myself healthy. I'm going to, do all these measures. And by doing that yourself, your part, you will stop that transmission from continuing on.
She said a mouthful. She went it. So I need to hear what you think about all of this, because Janine said a lot. There's a lot of chunk there.
No, I guess, I mean, you know me. I'm not a big trust of the government person. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm vaccinated. I have a situation. I have a son with cerebral palsy, 19 years old, doesn't walk, doesn't talk. I don't want that on my conscience. God forbid I could have prevented something coming his way. So yeah, I did. I took the vaccine, and I had no real side effects or anything. You know what I mean? And I got sick the other day, and I was pissed because I'm like, this better not be fucking COVID after getting vaccinated. But it is what it is. Just the time we're living in, and like you said, if we could prevent it, we could prevent it.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, mask. I don't know if the mask work. You might need the N95 mask to really make those work. But
Ask people from Asia if masks work. They've been wearing them for decades.
They be having umbrellas too with the sun.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. They wear them in Brooklyn. We grew up in Sunset Park watching them, saying, why the fuck do they have masks on? Because they knew something we didn't. They've grown up in areas where vaccines were not accessible or affordable to them. And so they've learned how to keep themselves healthy. They've learned, living in dense populations, that masks work. And
Pfizer got approved. So over 200 million people had the vaccine, 16 and over, and were fine. So that's why they got their approval. So in case people were.
And people are saying that if you get the Delta variant, you can still die. The data is like 0.00, barely 0.01 of people who have died that were vaccinated and had the Delta variant. And again, it was through severe complications that they had that happened. So even if you do get COVID again, or you get the Delta variant and you're vaccinated, the chances of you dying are almost impossible. And that it's in itself should be a motivating factor for people to get vaccinated, because you can't get it when you're on your bed, in the bed, when you're in the ER, in the hospital, and the nurses are like, you got COVID. People are asking nurses, can I get it? And the nurses are like, no, you got it. That's it. You got to write it out now.
Even if you get the first injection and you get sick, they got to wait.
Yeah, you can't get it while you're sick. You can't get it. So those are things.
Get your asses out there and walk and do shit and get healthy.
Take vitamins, eat well. This is the time to keep yourself healthy.
Facts.
It's critical.
I think that there's a lot that you both said that leads to other discussions. Janine cited the fact that she believes that the virus was something that was man-made and that got out of control. Janine also alluded to the fact that Asian people have been walking around with masks. And Sally, we talked about this, that I've been seeing them with masks on. Sally, you alluded to the trust factor, right? So both of you have touched on issues that sort of speak to a broader picture. And the data is something that we really don't know, because how long has the vaccine been out? 1, 2, we don't know long-term effects, because now you got to go to the next level, because the virus is mutating, right? We're getting another variant and another variant and another variant. So with that being said, we have a government, and I don't care who's sitting as the president, I don't trust none of them. Not one.
Trump got booed the other day for telling people to get vaccinated.
Yes, he did. We're pulling out of Afghanistan after 20 years. How many billions of dollars did we spend in there?
Trillion.
Trillion. For what? For what?
Opium.
That's what I think.
And the other natural minerals and resources that Afghanistan has, because it's not, it's just, I highlight the heroin because I know America's thirst for drugs. But they're also very rich in resources.
Yes.
Right? If we're pulling out of there, are we at war in any other country? No. right? We don't have soldiers like fighting, you know, a ongoing war like in Iraq or whatever. Why is it that the Pentagon's budget just increased by like 30 or 40 billion dollars and it was approved by both sides of the aisle?
Interesting.
I mean, really, why is that happening?
Yeah, I didn't even
Not
know
even-
that.
Because
It
they're
should
going to
be
take us
decreased.
over.
Yeah,
And
it
you
should
don't
be
want-
decreasing based off of our last 5 wars.
Hello.
They should realize we don't have any business in any other countries, you know, fighting other
And-
battles when we have our own things to worry about.
And to address your point, if we're not fighting any wars and their budget is going up,
I imagine it's
Why don't
because now they know that Taliban is a threat.
the Taliban
And
was-
Taliban is already meeting with China. And now, you know, we're not
Maybe-
liked in the world. And we probably got some real issues coming up in the horizon for America.
that this government loves to create.
Mhm.
This government created that whole fucking mess over there. Anything you
Mhm.
see going on over there where we have a footprint, we created.
Yeah.
Okay. But my point that I was trying to make to you was they know something that we don't. And
Mhm.
why don't we know about the increase in budget in the Pentagon? You want to know
Mhm.
why? Because we're worried about R. Kelly and Milk Crate Challenge and the
Mhm.
fucking vaccine
Mhm.
and you understand?
100%. These media stations are owned by all of them. Every media station, every newspaper, they're owned by like 3 different people. And their agendas are there for display every single day. And that's why I don't watch the news. I do research, but I research in different ways. I don't go to news stations to research. I actually like researching by looking at comments from people in other countries because they tend to know more about what's going on in America than we do. And we talk about propaganda and things being censored, but we're very censored here in America too, what we have access to and what we're pushing in front of our youth and our children and the sources that people go to for their information. You know, it's very limited. So you have to be your own, you know, advocate for looking for your own information and finding the truth out there and learning how to do your own research. And even if you have to Google, how do I research? You know, people really need to start holding themselves accountable for extracting the true information, because when you're voting, you need all that information. You know, you need to understand how those decisions are being made. And I think that just so many Americans don't even care about that anymore. We're just so caught up with scrolling and TV and the new show and, you know, what's going on.
You speak on censorship. Sorry, Mr. A.
No, go.
I
please.
remember it was Stephon Marbury. Well, it was one of the ball players though, and he talked about that because he was in China, and the guy from, you know, the Chinese person that was driving him around told him, he said, the difference is in the United States, you think you guys are free. We're here, we know we're not free.
Yeah.
You guys ain't free.
100%.
You don't have your freedom. So you just
Illusion.
they you think you have your freedom.
Yeah.
and we're gonna go down a rabbit hole. That's why I'm gonna cut this one off because I'm telling I got so much to talk about right now, but I can't. Listen, at the end of it all, we are mere cogs in the machine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no disrespect to anybody, not my people that I'm working with right now that we have on the show, not anybody that follows the show, not against your beliefs. This is just me. We are cogs in the machine, and when they determine the moment to turn and hit the switch to turn the lights out, you have no say.
Mm-hmm.
You just have no say. And understand something. The corporate thugs that run this country and maneuvering this government and its artillery around the world, those are the same corporate thugs that built the iron ring that's within China, which is something that I pointed out to Sally. Google
Mm-hmm.
built the infrastructure in China. Their facial recognition system that follows everybody and gives them a social scorecard like we have here on Facebook that people get constantly, like I got kicked out of.
Mm-hmm.
They have that in China. Who built it for them? Google did.
Mm-hmm.
So all this bullshit about, and no disrespect to anybody and not to you, Janine, all this bullshit about voting and oh, this person is going to do this and oh, Joe Biden and all that, it's all a fucking facade. These people need to understand that we need each other collectively.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't realize what's going to happen, you're going to be in for a rude awakening.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they say, oh, you can't buy food, you can't work. Who from the vaccinated side is going to stand with the unvaccinated?
Well, the
Because
federal government can't ever make that determination. That's
really,
another thing. The federal government can never make those types of calls.
when
State
has
by
the federal
state.
government ever? When has the federal government ever given one F? When? Never.
Well,
The
as far as them
federal government-
calling, you know, as far as them saying you can't work here, that's a state by state thing, like what Cuomo did and said, you know, if you want to go into these stores, if you want to go into whatever, you need to be vaccinated, kind of like schools do, you know. But as far as the federal government ever getting involved and saying things like that, they don't have that power right now. They just don't have that reach. And we talk about collectively, you know, the voting system is bullshit because barely anybody votes. So people win by default, really. They really don't have to do much to vote to win. There are so many smaller branches of government where the control really is for our community, for our city, for our state, that we don't even know about. We don't even think about, you know, public advocate, commissioner, you know, we don't think about those. We don't even show up to vote for those. So they win by default. It's usually the same people who are in power year after year, decade after decade. And these are really the people that are making those types of decisions about where you can move around in your community. So we're blaming it on Biden. We're blaming it on the federal government, but it's really like, you know, Joe Smith, who's been in office for 15 years over at, you know, your local building over there.
Well, that's how AOC started, right? With the she took out the guy that's been 20 years or whatever that was in Queens, that lived in New Jersey.
Yes, and talk about abuses of power. These people become so powerful. Who's going to come in and stop them? Nobody even knows that there's a position that they hold. They're literally doing whatever the hell they want. So those are the things we have to be worried about. You know, those are the things when we talk about collectively, we do have power. That is the basis of what America is about. But are we using that power? No. So we have the government and people who really understand, and people who are going to top colleges, and the people who are in control, who have been breeding their children to basically say, look, none of those people even care about what's going on in America. So this is what we're going to do. And they've already bred the next 6 presidents. They already know who they are, what families they're coming from. And these are the things we don't realize. And because the people aren't getting involved and creating our own, you know, potential president candidates to breed and saying, yeah, we're gonna breed our own. We're gonna bring one from this community, and we're gonna put him, you know, we're gonna campaign for him. You know, we don't win. We have no leg to stand on against them because they're so educated about how the system works. And those are the things that the average man just does not get. We've been dumbed down in America. We don't understand how our government works. So we become afraid. We fear what we don't know. We see memes and we see things being shared and we're like, oh my God, they can do that. But half the time they can't because we just don't know better. This is
ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't been paying attention, you got to understand what intent is. And Miss Janine Cabrera just laid out a very, very sound and solid point. And what I would say to that is, anytime anybody comes in, like an AOC, or somebody from outside of the system and tries to buck the system, look what's happening to AOC.
And they take them down. I have a friend, and I know firsthand, they try to create change in a rural community. They will take you down.
Janine, hold on a second. Eseli, you hear what she's saying, right? Mm-hmm. So Janine, the machine protects itself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So collectively, the people in this country have to collectively stand state by state, as you're pointing to, because state rights are a real thing.
Yeah.
But we cannot forget that the federal government has power.
Oh, yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
And the power is absolute. Yeah. However, collectively, state by state, if people stand and say, nah, this ain't happening.
Yeah. And when we see somebody like an AOC being attacked, we have to realize that she's representing us. She's going into war and battle for us. So when we say, oh, they're all the same, these politicians don't do shit, and then here comes somebody trying to create change and represent you, how are we defending her? How are we sharing the truth about her? You know, part of my advocacy is going into comment threads and you know, stating, no, that's bullshit what you're saying about her. That's absolutely not true. I had a friend from high school who was a Puerto Rican guy, Puerto Rican and white. His wife was Puerto Rican, and he was just trashing her. you know. And when I said that's a lie, you know, what are you talking about? You know, it had to do with the whole Costco building, I think, that was coming to Queens. He had all this misinformation, and I said, dude, you know, she's representing us. Your wife is a Latina, you know, you're going against your own people because, you know, you heard this politician say that she pushed out a business that was going to bring all this revenue in. But did you know this? Did you know that? Did you know why she did that? She's fighting for your friggin' rights and your quality of life. So we have to go to toe for these people. We have to go to, you know, to bat for the people that are standing up and becoming a lightning rod for us. And
a lot of those, like those big, like Walmart and those companies, they don't have unions. So a lot of these people don't understand they're fighting for us because they're trying to keep unions in the state.
Yes, they are. And what she was doing with fighting for people in the long run, we don't see the whole picture because we don't understand it. And the media is only going to share a line that's going to get people going. It's got an agenda.
Yeah.
These people don't realize either that the people in power don't like unions.
No.
And the few unions that are left in New York are beholden to these politicians, and they bend over backwards to give them their way. And little by little, they've been eroding their ability to earn a life for themselves and their children, right? You know, the MTA, the 32 BJs out there, you know, the local 54s, and little by little, due to corruption, they've been able to chip away. And, you know, people were saying, oh, like Trump is a great example of that. Oh, Trump is for the working man. Listen. Trump doesn't like unions, never liked
that
unions.
Sentence, those words don't even go together.
They just don't. He was in construction, okay? Anybody who is a builder of his magnitude, and it's not even, there's so many other people that do way more than he does as far as, you know, that field is concerned. But when you're on that level where you're going into New York City and constructing buildings or even rehabbing them, right? You're talking about $1 million properties. The last thing you want is union people in your building because they don't play that. Oh, you didn't have this done? Oh, we're not working on this. This is unsafe for us.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't pay this? Oh, we're not. No, you didn't sign off on the change order. We're not getting paid for the change. Oh, we out of here. They'll put the big rat in front of your building.
Yeah, I can attest to that, having been in construction.
And I can attest to it, having been in facilities. They don't, that is all part of the game, right? And one of his greatest contributors to his campaign was the CEO from AT&T. What is AT&T trying to do? Destroy their workers' union so they can send all those jobs over to the guy that called. Hello, my name is John. I got bullshit. Your name ain't John. Stop lying. You know, America first, my ass. It's all bullshit. All right, let me shift gears. we're gonna change it up for everybody. As you can see, Janine is just putting it down tonight, and this is. I hope everybody's enjoying the show. We're gonna switch gears. We're gonna bring it to relationships. As of late, Belly, I don't know if you've been picking up on this.
I'm out.
Surprise, motherfucker.
I don't know if you've been picking up on this cell.
Oh God.
There's a whole wave. There's Kevin Samuels. There's a podcast out of Miami called Fresh and Fit. There's Abba and Preach. There's a whole community that calls themselves Red Pill community where they're trying to empower men. They feel like women are undervaluing them and not appreciating them, and emasculating them. Just a whole bunch of shit. So everybody's trying to cash out, basically, is what I'm saying. I wouldn't include Abba and Preach in that. Kevin Samuels, I wouldn't really include him in that, whatever. But there's a lot of people trying to cash out. So everybody's jumping in the fray, and everybody has an opinion, as always, right? We like to talk about shit. So with that said, I want to share this clip with everybody and get your opinion. Let's go.
So say Aaron made 70. Even if the man made 40, if he was still taking care of her, then I don't think that
it has to balance.
Yeah.
Wait, you guys hear that?
We hear it. We don't see it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. That's my mistake.
Bum, bum, bum,
For real. that memory, son. I got it here. It says share screen, and I didn't share the screen. My bad. Let's try that one more again. All right, here we go. Share. Okay.
So say Aaron made 70. Even if the man made 40, if he was still taking care of her, then I don't think that
It has to balance.
yeah, then there's the balance, because like you were saying, Rico, it's all about who you are as a man. Like if you were able to be the man of the relationship and take care of what you need to take care of, like in your relationship, and like, you know, do the man duties, then it shouldn't really matter how much you make if you're getting it done. If you're making a certain amount and you can't get shit done, then yeah, how are you going to be with anybody?
Yeah, she can make 70 and he can make 40 as long as he's taking care of her. But then she also goes back to say that if he's making less money than her, she's more prone to disrespect his manhood, right?
Well, and take it back 2 more steps.
I'm
I'm more
taking
inclined
more
to
inclined.
disrespect him if he does something or says something.
Like, if he gives you a reason.
No, but see, that's the thing. I don't play those games, and my husband knows that about me. You come for me, and I'm not dilly-dallying around. Like, I'm literally going to say the most hurtful thing that I can to you.
All right, I'm going to stop it there. So, Janine, you being our special co-host tonight, and this is sort of your lane. This is sort of your vehicle, part of what you do, right?
Mhm.
What do you think about the situation that they're presenting? You know, if the man makes less than the woman, he should be able to fix and repair and do all these things. But if he's not, this woman has the green light to disrespect him to the highest levels.
Yeah.
What do you
I think there were 2 different conversations going on there.
Mhm.
The second girl touched on the fact that if he made less, it would make her more prone to disrespect him if he came for her. So basically what I hear there is just they're in a toxic relationship. That is the definition of toxicity. They're both disrespecting each other. He comes for her and she's shredding him because he came for her. So they already live in a dysfunctional type of relationship. But she kind of talked out her ass there, because are you basically saying that if your man made more than you, then he can disrespect you? Then that's okay. He knows who I am. He knows how I am. But if he makes more, then I'll shut up. Is that what you're saying? So she kind of put her foot in her mouth there and really spoke her truth, that she just wants a man who makes more money than her. As far as the first girl who was talking, I think what we hear a lot about now is masculine and feminine energy, and those dynamics, that the traditional roles that we've become accustomed to hearing. But those roles really are embedded in our natural energies. You know, every man has masculine and feminine energy. Every woman has masculine and feminine energy. And when the 2 of them come to a relationship, even if it's a gay relationship, one of them is more in their masculine energy than the other one. And you need that polarity in order to have a healthy relationship. You can't have 2 people playing the masculine. You just can't. You're both going to be trying to lead the ship all the time, and it just doesn't work that way. There will be conflict, and you repel each other sexually. There's no balance there. So as far as masculine energy, the masculine role, which women can also embody, is to be a provider. It is to be a doer and a fixer. Someone who is, you know, leading the family, leading the relationship, making the overall decisions. That doesn't mean that they dominate it, and that doesn't mean that they don't look to their partner for counsel or, you know, suggestions, or that they make decisions together. But that masculine energy should be the leader of that relationship. And as far as the feminine has her own gifts, and it has nothing to do with finances. Again, it has to do with the roles that the feminine plays of holding the emotions for the relationship, being the nurturer, being the counsel and the wisdom to the man. You know, women have a divine intuition and wisdom that comes to them that makes us good counsel for a man. So
Stop. Sally, did you hear what she just said?
Yep.
Everybody in the room, if you weren't paying fucking attention, you missed a jewel. Janine just dropped a bomb, and I hope everybody, men and women, really took the point of what she just said. And if you didn't, go back and replay it. It's at the 1 hour 29 minute mark. Go replay it and learn something. I'm sorry, Janine. Continue.
So, you know, that dynamic, it's what is needed in a healthy relationship. And this is where, you know, my views on the whole feminist movement are conflicted, because for so long I considered myself a feminist, and I was like, yeah, empower the women and this and this and this and that. But I do believe that the feminist movement has become very toxic. And in empowering women, we have disempowered the man. We have taken away what a man brings to a relationship. We do have this thought now of, I don't need a man. I can do it without a man. I can do this, you know, I can live without a man. But that's not how life was intended for us. We're not beings that's not how God created us. He created us to come together for a reason, because that's how we grow. That's how we learn. That's how we evolve our souls. So, you know, this dismissing of what a man brings to the table and reducing it to just finances is toxic. That in itself is a toxic type of thinking that really is more reflective about the person. You know, it's really saying, you know, as a feminine, I'm helpless and I'm you know, without defenses, and I need somebody to come and rescue me. That's toxic feminine energy. So women who are like, if he don't make more than me, I ain't gonna respect him. That's a girl with issues. That's a girl who is not empowered in herself to understand her own gifts and her own strengths. And, you know, sometimes we also see women who have gone out and built wonderful careers. And I myself was guilty of this. You know, you're in these environments where you're leading, you know, huge amounts of people. You have so many employees under you. And you, as a woman, you can go home and not know how to leave that masculine energy behind. You're making decisions all day. You're calling shots. You're putting out fires. That's all masculine energy. And that masculine energy is, no, I don't. Well, early 2000s. You know, I've been in construction where I've had to deal with men who are like, I'm not taking orders from you, you know, Latino men. And they're like, who the hell is this girl in tight pants trying to tell me what to do, you know? So you learn.
Were you a PM in construction?
I was, yeah. I did project management. I did project admin. Really? I worked for an infrastructure company. So I've done a lot in construction. I literally do everything in construction also. I've done everything from dig trenches to put up sheetrock, lay cement. I've learned a lot. But back to the point is, when you're in that environment, it was hard for me to let go of that masculine energy. You know, you're coming home with construction boots on and, you know, cement on you, and you're still in that energy. So I did have that, you know, exchange with my partner where we're both trying to lead the relationship and we're both trying to call the shots and we're both butting heads and repelling each other. And part of my healing journey has been to learn, how do I get back into that feminine energy? How do I learn how to be back in my body and feel my emotions? And learn to receive and not always be the fixer and the doer, and, you know, that masculine energy that we see. So that's what we see in a lot of women. We see a lot of women who have become very successful and they emasculate their men and they're calling the shots at home. And even if their man does make good money, you know, there's no respect there. There's just that polarity is not there because they're both trying to be the masculine of the relationship. And it can work if a woman is with a man who's in his feminine energy. That polarity is there. There are a lot of men in their feminine energy. There are lots, and women are okay with that. You know, they let the woman take the lead. They let her make the decisions. They're the doer. They're the fixer. And maybe the man stays home and takes care of the kids. That works for a lot of couples. But you have to have the polarity of that yin and yang. You both can't be playing in that same energy. It just doesn't work. And
there's only one woman that could boss me around. Oprah, my baby, Oprah. Get paid, Oprah, baby. Boss me around.
And Oprah looks like she's in her masculine energy, and Stedman looks like he's in his feminine.
Facts.
Right?
I think Stedman is like, yo, do what you do, just bring it over here. I honestly see it that way, but that's just me.
I'll be the same. I'm good, man. I'm good. Who are you?
So Sally, in that clip, what did you make of what when she said, you know, if he comes for me, I'm gonna disrespect him in the worst way because I make more money than him? Do you think that's like healthy?
Not at all. I would say, why even be in a relationship?
Yeah.
If that's what you're waiting for. You're waiting for that explosion. You know what I mean? And violate. What respect do you have for your man? Because of the money? You know what I mean? Maybe he's gonna get, like Janice said, maybe he'll end up making more money than you, and then what? Can he violate you now?
Mhm.
Like, I ain't listening to you. You ain't make money, bitch. Come on. Like, it's just, if you're in that relationship, you're in that relationship. If it's not working for you and you feel you got to violate them like that, then just be like, yeah, I'm done. I'm out of here.
Yeah,
And that's
go get
it.
another
Don't-
relationship.
Yeah.
You're just excusing your toxicity, and that's what she's
Mhm.
doing. She's just excusing her toxicity. I can do this because he doesn't make enough. He's
Right.
not paying the bills like a man should.
Okay.
You know,
Well, what else
Not
does he do?
herself.
Does he take care of the kids? Does he do?
he probably
do
does a
this, do
bunch
that?
of shit, and she's
Right.
just not, acknowledging.
We're not going to acknowledge that.
Hmm.
I really believe that all these groups and all these sort of communities that are together now have purposely and specifically ruined relationships between men and women.
Yeah.
And listen, you're a feminist, yo, do you?
Mhm.
You're a matito, you're whatever, mujeriego, whatever. Listen, do you?
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, what's being more prevalent and pushed to the forefront is the separation of men and women.
Yeah.
If you look at Miami, for instance, you have a bunch of females who go down there and they're all looking for a winning lottery ticket.
Well, I wanted to talk about this when you brought up women escaping things.
For real? Okay. They're all looking for a winning lottery ticket.
Yeah.
And before you know it, if when you play the lottery, you're going to play the lottery forever because chances of you hitting the lottery is slim to none, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So by the time you look up, you're 34. You probably, done carried extra luggage with you that you didn't need to.
Mhm.
The alcohol has taken hold. You're not cute no more. You're looking a little run down. And now you want to go back to some other town and settle down because,
Mhm.
shit didn't work out. Right. And that's
Mhm.
sad. But it's specifically happening because of that poison.
Mhm.
Everything is about the bag. Everything is about money. Oh, you got it. You
Mhm.
got it. And men, I blame men. I honestly feel that we have allowed this to happen because we haven't, as you said, women are meant to be our counsel, right?
Mhm.
We've allowed our women to be put in a position that they are not in their role. And I don't mean barefoot in the kitchen. I don't know how many times I got to say this for women to get it.
Yeah.
The role is not barefoot in the kitchen. That's a European way of thinking. I don't care what nobody tells me.
Mhm.
Our culture and the people that we derive from, we didn't move like that.
Mhm.
Our women are meant to be our counsel, right? And we've allowed this American lifestyle to tear that all away.
Mhm.
And I blame us because we're the stronger of the two sexes physically.
Mhm.
And we should be able to see these things and put a stop to them.
And the leaders, you should be leading.
Right. But now we're loving hip hop.
Yeah.
This is my girl or my wife, but I got a side chick and I got a BM and I
Mhm.
got, this one that I say that's my cousin, and we do all sorts of fuckery. And
Mhm.
the wife is, talking to this dude and he's consoling her. The next thing you know, they're boning. Just nonsense.
Mhm.
But
Normalizing dysfunction.
there you go. Everybody's buying into it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, where does that leave everybody?
Mhm.
Confused.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be in a relationship. Nobody thinks that these things actually work. Nobody wants to play their fucking role.
Mhm.
Your woman could have male energy. She can. There's things that she could do that you probably can't. And there's things that you could do that she definitely can't do.
Mhm.
But what's important is that your woman understands, because I'm speaking from the man perspective, she knows when to let you be a man. She
Mhm.
knows when to step aside and go, he got this.
Yeah.
She knows not to be putting on show in the street and trying to embarrass you,
Yeah.
right? Women like that are like, oh, the bag, you're going to be 40 and run down and alone.
Yeah.
It's just the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they're
And-
dysfunctional. So they're either be in an abusive relationship their whole life or alone eventually.
Find the balance.
Mhm.
And the whole feminist shit, listen, you want to be a feminist, go ahead. I love to listen to women tell me they're feminists,
Mhm.
and then when I go to their crib, they cooking, they cleaning. It's subliminal.
Yeah.
Really, for me, you talking about you a modern woman, but I see you cooking and cleaning and doing things that you say, oh, I ain't have to do. No,
Yeah.
you're in your space. Stop buying into this fuckery in the world.
Because somebody's got to do it, and the reality is that moms are the nurturers, and we home with our kids, and there's just certain life dynamics that it's not even about the role. Some dads get home earlier and they cook before. It's just the dynamic of how life works. And so we put so much levity into these, so much energy into these things because we feel like they empower us. Like you said, I'm a feminist, and by labeling themselves, they think that in itself empowers them. But there's like a resentment that they have to live this role and they have to do these things, and these things are on them, and maybe they're not using their voice in their relationship. So, I'm a feminist, I align with this, and now it's an automatic, they've spoken for me about what my belief systems are. But that is the destruction of the family unit, is that nobody wants to play their role anymore. Everyone feels like they have to come up and rise up from some type of oppression, when life is hard, and having a family is hard, and running a house is hard. They're hard things to do. But if you have a true partnership, it gets a little easier, and the ship sails a little bit smoother. But, we have these podcasts that show up that they're as predatory as news stations are, where they see a problem and they promulgate the problem. And then they think that they're experts on the problem, and they start, stirring the people up because it's good for views, and they know they're going to blow up quick, and they're going to get a platform because they're saying really controversial things. And callers are calling in and they're fighting with them, and it's all very premeditated, but I wanted to just touch on the whole Miami thing, because we kind of skirted around that twice.
Miami changed my life.
Yeah, we hold men to this standard of behavior, and what we expect from them, and how to treat women, and don't be abusive, be a good husband, whatever. But women really do escape that hot seat all the time in so many different ways. And one of them is that whole culture that has been created within hip hop, of the Miami, the LA, Atlanta, this fast woman type lifestyle, where it's glamorized and it's, promoted, and all these Instagram models are exploding with attention, and now they're famous for really, nothing. But it's really narcissism in women at play here that we're seeing. Not all of them. Some of them are just, users and manipulators, or, fast women. But what we see in those environments is a lot of narcissism at play. So we look at men all the time and we're like, he's a narcissist, he's a narcissist, he's a narcissist. But we're not looking at all these women who are moving in narcissistic ways, that are looking to trap a man, looking to set men up. They have complete agendas. They know exactly who they're going through. There's just so much going on in that industry, and it's so glamorized, and young women are seeing this and thinking that this is a way up, and that this is a way to find validation, and to marry up. And it's just complete dysfunctional behavior and distorted feminine energy at play. And we see the men that gravitate towards it, and they love it, and they put it in their videos, and that's distorted masculine energy. So then you have, people who create a podcast about it, and they talk about it like it's normal. It's not normal. And that is really what is polluting the generations that are coming behind us. We see all these generations now where poly is the norm now. When I was my generation, it was a taboo thing to be poly, or, a swinger. You hid those things. You were ashamed of them. You kept them, secret. But now it's like, on your bio of Instagram, poly, there's no more shame in it. It's just a complete destruction of, the family, and it's glamorized everywhere we look. It's all over the place. How does a kid find themselves in that?
On the show that she's speaking of, there's a couple that are together, man, years. They got like 9 kids between them. This dude keeps popping up with kids from outside the relationship.
No, of course.
And she stays with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you doing?
She's gonna stand by him.
People see this, and they're like, they buy into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But going back to something that Janine said earlier, Selly creates a balance for himself, because I know he's with his boys all the time. Selly's constantly putting up pictures of him chefing it up, right? So your balance, like Selly, like how do you find your balance for yourself with your children?
Well, I was put into that situation where I got basically hurt from work and had to stay home. Their mom was going to work, and I was like, what's the other option? You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm with them. I got to learn this. I got to learn how to cook. I went on YouTube, whatever it took. You know what I mean? Just to make sure, whatever they like that I made, I would get better at that. Do other things. Chef it up for them, and just being with them, like spending time with them, and this is what they need right now. You know what I mean? And I have my days. The estrogen kicked in. I'll be like, you don't appreciate me, and it's one of the harder. That's a thankless job. Being home.
That's
I mean, my only difference was I was being paid to be home. So. But I could see, a housewife nowadays that wouldn't work or anything, and like back in the days, and they'd just be home, like my mom and people like that. That's thankless job. It never ends. So
it's amazing to.
I appreciate the other side for sure.
Yeah, you see, but that's the reason why I asked that, so that people in the room understand. Not everybody feels the way you imagine they feel, because there are men in this world who will gladly step up and cook and gladly do things that you figure are out of the norm.
Yeah.
And going on tangents and saying, well, I ain't never gonna do that. That's until you find somebody you love.
Yeah.
And then all that shit goes out the window. Now you may beat your chest online that, oh, I'm this, I'm that. But at home, you doing the things that you think or you say or proclaim, oh, I'm that. I don't need to do that. Not all women. Yeah, you, yes. and I want to speak to something that you said, Janine. You said that you couldn't get out of your masculine energy, right? When you came home from commanding the troops on the work site. What I would say to that is men today need to understand how to take their woman and bring her down. And I don't mean beneath them.
Yeah.
You have to be in tune with your woman to understand what she needs, when she needs it, how she needs it, and make that a point to take care of that.
Yeah.
Run her that bath. You'll take her shoes or your mom. Go ahead. Go take her. Go take her.
Absolutely.
Take her bath.
Absolutely.
Here's a glass of wine.
100%.
Listen, just go lay up in the room and relax.
Because I was going to touch on that when Sully said something about, him taking on that role, and that is how you balance each other out. When women, back in the day, women stayed home. And so you think of the matriarchs, how loving they were and how soft and nurturing they were. We don't see women like that anymore. And it's because we're trying to do too much. Either you stay home and you take care of the house, or you're out to work and somebody shares those responsibilities with you. So when you're out and you're being a provider and you're playing in that masculine energy all day, and then you're coming home and you still have to go and take care of the home, it's hard to move between those energies. And so women stay stuck in that masculine energy, and it makes them rigid and tense and cranky, and we're irritable and we're snapping at people, and we don't want nobody in our house, and we don't want to be hospitable because we're stuck in that masculine energy. We're doing too much. We're stuck in a doer's role, and no one is tending to us. We're not receiving. But if your man says, look, honey, I ran the bath for you, or look, let me give you a massage. Now you're put back, you're forced back into your feminine energy because you have to receive. So that is the quickest way to get your woman back into.
I ran the bath. Here's the toaster with it, brother. Okay.
Well, be nice, run her a bath. It's not that hard.
Listen, if you're not taking care of your lady, somebody is going to. If she's acting raggedy, you need to find a way how to bring her down to her soft and feminine side.
Yes.
And make her feel all gentle,
loved and
make her want to be receiving. Right?
Yeah.
Receive.
That's it. Put her into a position to receive, and then she is in her feminine. So people confuse that with money. We think that only equates to finances. She's got to receive money and the bag, and that makes her feminine. No, that's not at all what God created.
Exactly. You young boys out here that are 28 and under, You need to listen. Get your head out of the fucking love and hip hop moment.
Yes.
Get your head out of the bullshit and thinking that she got to do. If you with a woman, you got to learn about her. You got to know about her, and you got to do right by her. And she will do right by you. If she's a good woman, she will rub your feet. She will learn to cook if that's what you really like. She will.
Yep.
But pay the fuck attention to the signs and take care of your woman and be good to each other. What's
Play
so
the
hard
role
about
right.
that?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you just joined us, it's too late for you. Okay. I'm glad everybody came out. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I want to say, I'm sure Sally, agrees. Janine, we appreciate you coming on tonight. I had an amazing time. Sally, you had fun?
Yeah, I had a good time for sure.
So
it's a
fucking
good. We spoke about this, and I'm glad it
Yeah.
actually came to fruition.
Thank you, guys.
for
Thank you
real.
for having me again.
For real. And as I said before when Janine was on the show, she will be back because
Thank you.
she puts in that work and there's a lot to talk about there, right? Join us next Wednesday. In the beginning of the show, we ran the promotional video. September 10th, Rooftop Reds, Chef Jay Martinez ticket giveaway is gonna happen. We're gonna coordinate. As a matter of fact, Jay, you're in the room. We're gonna coordinate something between you, I, and Sally, and put it up on the page. I already put the promo up, but we're gonna do something else. If you're in New York City, make your way down there. The set will be there. Janine, I appreciate you.
I do
Sally,
too.
we out of here.
I appreciate
Yeah.
you guys. Thank
Thank you, Janine.
Talk to you
Take
soon.
care, everybody. Have a good week.